Welcome to another episode of the Wayz Podcast. Why? Why, Lex?
I don't know why.
Why, Lex?
Why?
Because there's more than one way to do anything.
How do you do it? Two?
There's two ways.
No, it's probably should do this way.
Two ways, two ways, two ways.
Come ride, she'll by my side. Come take a ride, take a ride with me.
Welcome back. If you're, I think at this point, if you're actually rocking with us and you've been rocking with us for this long, I just want to shout the fuck out to you. You are very, very loved because I think, by the time this episode comes out, we'll probably be about like 7 or 8 deep, maybe even more. You got something to say?
Nope. That was just a noise. I was like that. Dang, I was kind of close to the mic when that hit.
Lex be on something sometimes. Okay, but today we're going to talk about success.
Dun, dun, dun.
So how do we define success? Do we define it as a great career or a happy life? But do you think you can have both?
Both what?
A great career and a happy life?
Yeah.
I think so too.
But
So,
I
yeah.
don't think you can do one without the other.
Really?
Yeah.
I want you to dive more into that. Might as well just dive into it. What's up? Why don't you?
Okay, so there's many people that have a great life, but then they're not happy with their career.
Ah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then some people have a great career, but then they're not happy in their actual life.
Yeah.
So like doctors,
Yeah.
they have a great career,
Mm-hmm.
but then some people, I hear a lot of doctors, especially after COVID,
Mm-hmm.
they're not happy with their life because they're exhausted.
Right.
So I think that you can have both. You can make it work with both, but you can't have one without the other. Maybe at periods of time you may not have one, but you're supposed to have both at the same time. You may not like your career, but you value it. You know,
Right.
what I mean?
Right. I think I kind of agree with that. I don't think I actually have a rebuttal to it.
Oh, yay!
Is she happy about that?
What? Yay!
I think she's clapping because I think no, we agree on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of episodes where we weren't really disagreeing at all. We were just kind of going back and forth. Yeah, the one you guys are gonna see. Well,
on words,
but I
Anyway.
think that's the whole point of our show.
Right.
Is that we're different people and we are still able to maintain a friendship. And I respect your opinion highly, but when we do agree, I think it's kind of cool because it's cool.
I don't know. That was weird.
Why?
It's cool that we agree. It's just
I mean, I would never even try to get you to agree with me. I just tell you things that for what I think.
nor
at
would
face
I.
value.
I don't think I.
But I
would try to
respect
get
you, and
That's good.
I respect your opinion, and I respect you as a person. So I would never try to change who you are because
as equal.
you're Big Lex. We didn't even introduce our fucking selves. Hold on,
She's going backwards.
because I'm so caught up in convo now. But I think y'all know us by now. Yanaa and Big motherfucking Lex. Okay, so in your opinion, would success be having a great career or a happy life, or trying to do a mix of both?
Doing a mix of both, because if you don't enjoy your career, then your life isn't going to be as happy as you want it to be, because you're always going to be oh god, I gotta go to work on Monday. I gotta go to work tomorrow. So if you make a balance, then it's easier for you to be appreciate both. You don't have to always like both, but I think that you should have a balance. At least choose a career that you are attempting to like.
Right.
I don't understand people I work at Walmart. Well, do you even shop at Walmart?
Right.
That it should be something you at least can pretend to like.
Right.
So
some people don't have that though.
Well, most people don't. Not anymore.
They don't have things they enjoy.
Yeah, I know. My grandfather has, if he sees this, he doesn't really have it. He's 100. He'll be 101. 101.
Clap for that. We like the old blacks.
Yeah, he'll be 101 on Father's Day. I think he falls on Father's Day.
That's awesome.
He has nothing that he enjoys.
Right.
Well, I don't want to say enjoys, but like a bucket list. Like young people today, they have a bucket list. And I'm like, dang, you're kind of like, dude, you just turned 18. Why do you have a bucket list? But it's not a bucket list like how it was back then. Those are things I want to do before I die. A bucket list of today is just simply things I want to do.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't have that. Like, he doesn't have anything that he wants to do. And I was like, does that mean you've done everything?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he's done it all.
But
at
it's
this
not.
point.
He just doesn't have anything like specific that he wants to do, or like race a car, or run down the street, or buy.
Right.
I really want him to ride in a Corvette. That is my goal. Corvette. I don't know why. I just feel like he'd look. I feel like he'll look really cool in a Corvette.
How you gonna make goals for him?
Because he doesn't have any. So why can't I add one?
But did he work a lot?
He was in
up until
World War
retirement.
II.
Ah, so maybe that took the fucking shit out of him. Maybe he said, "Fuck this."
He's 101.
He said, "Fuck this. I'm done. I didn't see so many people die, and I did."
Yeah, he's 101. Like,
Right.
come on, man, live it up.
Right.
You have full gray hair. You can walk. You can talk. You're not pooping on
And
yourself.
that's a blessing. That's a blessing to even be able to be at that state at that age.
So I'm like, come on, Corvette. Just ride in it. That's my goal. Get him in a Corvette. Now, do I want him driving? Absolutely not. But I want him to be in the passenger seat. I wanted him to be on a motorcycle, but that might be pushing it.
Not a motorcycle. Are you going to drive?
Well, I wanted the tricycle bike. You know, with little buggy on the side.
Yeah.
But that might be pushing it.
But are you going to drive?
Of course not.
Lexi drives like a granny, y'all.
So that might be the perfect person for him to ride with.
Until it's time.
Yeah.
I seen her get real like maybe twice.
Wow. But careers. I think that most people don't have a career. I know for me, I didn't have a career set.
Right.
I knew what I didn't want to be.
Right.
But everything else, when you're little, people always tell you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
I believe that. My aunt told me, you're Superwoman, right? You can do whatever. And my mom tells me all the time, you can't do everything. I'm like, no, my aunt told me I can do everything.
Right.
And I've stuck to that.
I think you should.
I don't want to have, I wanted to be a doctor. No, I wanted to be a doctor. But then I realized, I have too much, emotion. I know it doesn't seem like that, but there's no way I could deal with, death.
I didn't mean to do the crickets, but
the crickets one?
The rim shot one, Lex having too much emotion. Yeah.
Emotion.
That
when
was
I
a
say
joke.
emotion, I mean, imagine being a doctor for 10 years.
Right.
And then your patient dies.
I think it would suck it out of you being a doctor.
Yeah. I realized that once I started losing my family members, how does their doctors that they see very regularly, or doctors that they had a connection with, they'd talk to, oh, hey, my grandmother's doctor, he'd be like, oh, hey, Dora, and she's like, yeah, whatever, you took forever. I don't know how he feels. You know what I mean? To lose so many patients from one household, how do you feel?
Right.
And that's your career. That's your job. So that's something that exited for me very quickly after high school. I'm like,
right.
I might go and get a doctorate, but I'm like, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'll simply just be collecting a check.
Right. Okay. I think that's cool. I think I agree with your aunt. You can do anything.
That's why I haven't picked anything. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I mean, you don't have to. I don't
think you have to, but you have to. Most people try to perfect. I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist. My mom would say I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I just feel money is not an object.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
If I want to be a DJ today, I'm going to get all the equipment to be a DJ today.
Right.
And if tomorrow I don't like it, then the equipment's just going to sit there.
Thank God.
Or this camera, the camera that we're using. I wanted to be a photographer. I was like, okay, I can do this. It wasn't that it seemed easy.
Right.
I just when you don't know what you want to be. I knew I wanted to play basketball. Well, clearly that didn't end the way I wanted it to.
But you did play basketball in your life.
I did, but like everything,
you know what I mean?
Everything I wanted. If we go to my room right now, you'll see a goal on there that says to go to Tennessee.
Right.
You'll see a goal that says I want to go to the WNBA. Well, clearly that's not happening anymore.
Right.
So I won't think of it. I don't want to think of it as like a failure. I want to think like I just had to pivot, and maybe I can go and be with the WNBA in a different capacity.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yes.
So I know that a lot of people think that I just buy a whole bunch of crap, and it's true. I do. I'm not gonna deny that. But I buy it because I don't know if I'm not gonna like it.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff I do like, but do I want to do it forever? Is still up to debate. Like the DJ stuff.
Right.
Or it's not that I don't enjoy it, and it's not that it's hard and I just don't want to do the work. I just don't know if I'd want to do that forever. But what if you could have a career that you could do everything that you want to do, not necessarily when you want to do it, but when it is available to you.
Right.
So that's what I don't think that career is maybe in a before time, like later generations or older generations, a career was a thing. I don't think a career now is a thing because you don't have to do one thing. You don't have, you can be a doctor, but you can also be like a freaking dog walker on the side.
Right.
I don't know.
I absolutely agree with everything you said. And just to add to that, I feel like with older generations and people, they look so forward to having retirement that they stuck to doing one thing. Yeah. Because it's like if you don't stick to something for a certain amount of years, you don't get to retire. And I think that's all a part of the system. You know me.
How do you feel about like state workers?
I think state workers do the same thing.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're in high school or even in college, I personally didn't hear it that much in college, but that might be because I wasn't in California.
You weren't hearing,
But they would be like, get a job with the state. Make sure you can get a job with the state, not with the city, with the state. And then if you can't get a job with the state, then try to get a job with the city. Right. I didn't understand what that meant until COVID. Right. Is the first time I not COVID. Right before COVID, we had a shutdown. Mm-hmm. Not for COVID, but this city shut down. The government shut down, mm-hmm. Right? That is the first time when I realized, oh, that's what they mean when they say get a job with the state. Right. But I never thought of that as an important thing. Do you think we value state jobs more than we should?
I think people value state jobs because if you don't really know what you want to do and you don't really have a career path that's high paying, you can get a state job out of high school and you can promote and move up in different positions and your salary will go up. And it's you get benefits. Right. You get perks. Right. You get tenure, you get a lot of benefits with the state just from having a high school job. And you don't have to necessarily you can go to college and obviously like entry higher in the state, but you can start off as an office assistant and go all the way up to something that your salary caps out at like $12,000 a month, but it takes time and you have to actually want to do that. But I think that's why people say that. I think it's a good job to have while you're trying to do something else.
Do you think today's generation, our generation, I'll say our generation is the last generation that wants to work because the generations after us do not.
It's funny.
They do not. I don't even go to McDonald's right now and count how many high schoolers are there. And then there's one girl I asked at McDonald's, why are you here? She's like, oh, I just needed a job for the summer. Right. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? When she told me what her GPA was, I'm like, but why are you here? Did you miss my question? Talking about she got a 4.2. Why are you here? Okay, the dude that is a 2.6 is supposed to be here. She's like, no, I just like hanging out and I just need some extra money. I'm like, what?
I think the lower generations are realizing sometimes that there's no such thing as a work-life balance for, like you were saying, if you do careers, they take a lot of work, right? There's a lot of things that you have to do. And I think that they just want to live. I think they're kind of at the point where they're like, there's so many side hustles you can do and so much money you can make now, not having a career. And she's like, working at McDonald's, they get paid. You know what I mean? it's not like $13 an hour, you know, and it'd be surprised. A lot of these fast food places get paid good money. And so why not? She's just probably like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, but I think I still want to piggyback off of what you said.
Yeah.
I think that what you do as far as you personally, like how you have those many different options for yourself, I think that's awesome, because I think sometimes people think they can only do one thing in their life.
Right.
You can wake up and live a million lives. You know what I'm saying? You can wake up one day and decide, hey, I don't even want to freaking work here anymore. I want to go and freaking work on the space station. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At whatever age you want to do it. And I think it was such a rigid, like the other generations before us were so rigid.
Right.
And I think we're a little bit more
do you think
go with the flow. And
technology played a part in that?
I do.
I think the biggest thing that played a part in it is probably YouTube. I think technology has allowed people to have so many more opportunities that you couldn't really see being an opportunity. And I think it's really cool. I think people deciding, hey, I'm 30 years old and I'm going to quit the career I've been working for the last 15 years, not 15 obviously, but for the last 10 years and go do something else with my life, because I feel like that's going to make me happy at the time that I'm at. I think that's awesome. I think that people should do what makes them happy in the moment. Right. If in the moment you want to go be a doctor, be a doctor. Like you said, you can go to school and get your doctorate and decide, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor. Yeah. And I think it's still cool to have that, because that's an accomplishment. But if you decide, hey, fuck being a doctor, I want to be a DJ, do that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that people just think so rigidly, and some people care so much how about other people see them. Right. It's like, oh, I'm too old to go change my career. I'm too old to go back to college. I'm too old to do this because I should be stable. And I know it's hard to like just up and quit your job. So let me not just say it's idealist thinking, because in ideal world, you can quit your job today and still keep your place to live. You know what I mean? But we can't do that. So I do think that it's a little bit harder to like reinvent yourself. You got to have something to fall back on and like a part-time. Do you think I think that everyone should have a side hustle of some sort. Yeah. But I do think that YouTube is a great platform for side hustles, but for side hustles of side hustles. Does that make sense?
I think I know what you're trying to say.
If this podcast, we don't make money off of this podcast
yet,
but the podcast itself is a side hustle. Right. The video camera and putting it on YouTube is a side hustle of a side hustle. Right. So when people do like videos of them at their, washing cars at their car business, that's a side hustle of a side hustle. I do believe that your side hustle needs a side hustle. Right. So if you're, for example, washing cars, you can wash cars and put it on YouTube. That's a side hustle of a side hustle. Or you can sell the soap product. That's a side hustle of a side hustle.
Okay.
Because
y'all know Lexi a hustler. Y'all know she a hustler.
Because if anything we have learned from COVID is that having a job, whether it's the state, whether it's the city, whether it's Amazon or UPS, in a heartbeat, you can be dropped.
Period.
And so everyone's side hustle that you had during COVID, whether that was making T-shirts or printing posters, those side hustles during COVID became people's main hustle.
They really did. And people really thrived off of them. But
some people quit their jobs because they've thrived so much off their side hustle.
And I think that that's cool as hell.
I think that should have taught us something, that I don't need to work for Apple.
Right.
I can make cases that you need for Apple. You know what I mean? That is.
And when you think about it, Apple was somebody's side hustle at a point.
At a point, yeah.
And now they're just a big company making other people work for them. Right. You know what I mean? So I think you can do everything you want to do. But like, okay, so success for you is having both. Define success in your own terms. I'll get the definition up, but like what is success for you?
To be able to financially be stable, So when I say stable, I mean like I don't have to check my bank account before I order this cheeseburger.
Gotcha. The cheeseburger.
No cheese, by the way. But
cheeseburger.
Financially stable and like house stable.
Gotcha.
So I think one thing we do not as not as a black race, but as a human race, do not value is a house. Like we are very quick to move into an apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but as someone who like I research a lot on housing and homes, even in California, there's so many programs that I think most people would qualify for. Like people with bad credit, first time home buyers. Yeah, you get so much credit that I don't know how we don't have houses. Like, why are they still building apartments?
I can tell you why.
Why?
From my own opinion, just from working like in real estate and stuff, a lot of people don't know how to care for houses. Right. And I think our generation, you know, and I'm not saying you or me, but they don't have time for that. I mean, they can't go look it up on YouTube, but a lot of people don't want to do that. Right. And the cost of paying somebody else to do certain things that it costs to upkeep your house, like some people get houses that don't know that they have to pay for everything. Like, and sometimes based off of the salary that we're even making, even if you can buy a house and qualify for that house, it's expensive to just upkeep it. And they're like, nope.
I just don't understand that apartments. I don't know if people don't see that or if you would like COVID. I keep saying COVID. It has taught me so much because during that time when I was stuck in the house with a child, I just wanted to pull my hair out. I just was like, I need to buy a house because I cannot stay here anymore. When I was looking stuff, I'm like, first time home buyers get all this. Right. They get credit. You can put $500 down to get a house. And yes, you're going to have to pay for more stuff. You're going to have to do more things. Yeah. But if you just take in comparison an apartment versus a house, an apartment, you don't pay for water. Most places you don't pay for water and you don't pay for electric in an apartment. Right. Most houses, I think in Sacramento area, are PG&E. Yes. Well, PG&E has a payment plan.
They do. And people don't know that either. SMUD does too.
SMUD does too. So
you just got to call.
You just have to call. Right. So
people don't know that about a lot of creditors and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think it's because it's not.
It's not. They're not going to tell you.
They're not going to tell you. But listen to me. Somebody who's been in a lot of binds, if you communicate with anybody that you're having to pay, they just want you to call. Yeah. Tell them what you can do. Right.
A lot of them are pretty cool about
it. Until it's at the point, if you're at the point though where they're about to turn your lights off, they might work with you. But
I've seen where they have come out to turn off somebody's water? Right. I think it might have been their water. And the lady came out and showed like some paper. And he said, you got 10 days.
Right. But don't do it after. Don't wait until after your water's already turned off. Then they're going to make you pay the whole bill. Yeah. But if you
call, honestly, because I've had it happen. If you call after your water is turned off, if you get like, you might have to call a couple of times. But if you get the right person, she'll say somebody to help you. You can make a payment right now, and then we'll work the rest out, and we'll stretch it out over 2 years or something like that.
Most people don't know. You got to tell them what you can do, right? Because they work without you. They're not successful. Credit cards, car loans, all that. And I think it's like the fear of like, damn, I can't pay my bill and just trying to avoid it until you can. But no, get your ass on the phone and beg and plead with them people. I'm one of those. I'm an advocate for it. I will call and be like, look, I don't get paid till this day. Can we post date this? And they will post date it. Like, don't. I think there's a lot of things that our generation doesn't know like that though, because we're so like,
don't know. I think we're just like, stuck in our ways, or stuck in the ways of which we've heard, not of which we've learned. Because how many kids in high school, in our time and in today's time, have you heard, oh, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to go look for a house? They always say an apartment, like an apartment is better. That's in reality, an apartment is going to cost you more than a house. A first-time home buyer, an apartment is going to cost you just as much as a house, because every year for an apartment, the rent goes up, doesn't it? At least in California.
I think if you don't want the headache, get an apartment.
The headache?
If you don't, because what I think, honestly, people that own houses, you should learn how to do a lot of things yourself. Like there's simple things that you can do yourself.
Right.
You know, like changing a toilet. That doesn't take too much for you to go into the plumbing. Changing a toilet out is fairly easy, and you can go buy one from Home Depot. As far as like, you can't really do electricity stuff on your own unless you're an electrician. Plumbing stuff, you can.
I've done some electricity stuff.
Lexi be niggering and shit, obviously.
I mean, you see these lights is on here, aren't they? So
renovations, you can do on your own. It takes a while.
With YouTube, with the advantages we have in YouTube, I don't understand why we don't have more.
I think more people are, though, because of YouTube, because they're seeing how easy it is, because DIY has become our generation's thing. Am I wrong? I think,
but we try to take the easy way. We take the easy way to success.
Of course.
The I'm gonna buy a house with 10 of my friends and we're gonna renovate it and then we're gonna sell it and then get halfway in renovation, all y'all friends fall apart.
Of course, because I think instant gratification is one of those things. But success, I think it looks different for everybody. Yeah. You know, I do think for me, I'm at the point in my life where my idea of success has changed. I think my idea of success was what I was like doing what everybody else felt like I was going to be successful at. You know, when you grow up and everybody's like, oh, you're so smart, you can do this, you can do that. And you kind of fall into that idea of like, hey, maybe I can, because everybody else can see that I can do that.
I don't know if anybody ever said that to me.
No?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people told me I was smart. Yeah. And I always thought that I had to do something that smart people do.
The hell do smart people do?
I say that in terms of like, a lot of times people don't think people that are artistic are smart.
Artistic?
Yes. Sometimes art, like in any form. People don't think rappers are smart. People don't think a lot of singers are smart unless they actually hear them talk. And then they're like, whoa, they're so smart. Yeah. I think that you think that to be, not you, but like I thought that to be smart meant to go and to do something business-wise, like go work for a company as, you know, or doing office stuff or doing certain things of like that showed that I had a certain type of status in a way, like doing real estate. That's a smart, not everybody knows how to pass that test, but you can if you study, you know what I mean? If you actually want to do real estate, you can pass that test and get your license. It's not too much of a difficult test, but I fell into that rather than going down and not using my brain. You know what I mean? But you have to use your brain to be an artist too and to do other things. But I think now I'm at that point of where I see how like me wanting to work with music and media has changed. You know, I'm going back to school to get my degree in communications. And it's so that I can work at one of these big companies, getting a big salary, but still being close to what I love. You know, I might not necessarily be a music artist. I might not necessarily be the face of, you know, a label, but I can still go do what I want to do and make a good living off of it and be around things that I'm good at. Right. Using my strengths, but also towards what I love. And I think sometimes that's what's good at the internet too. I didn't know about how many opportunities there were out there to work in media. Just for companies, big companies, and you can make a good ass salary from it. Yeah, you know, until internet. So let's clap for them.
Okay, how do you feel? Okay, clappers. Can a career be great from start to end? When I say start from it, if you are starting it yourself, starting it up, like this is a startup business,
right? I think there's always going to be hard parts. Right. I think that the greatness of it comes in the personal person. Right. And what I mean by that is like how you think of it. Right. You know, because like even with this, like I said, this is a startup. What we're doing is completely us. Like this equipment is Lex's. You know what I'm saying? The ideas are ours. We did look for examples, but I don't feel like we're necessarily following anybody's example. We're just kind of doing it on our own. And we've had hang-ups. We've had episodes that that we can't even put out, and somebody could have said, "Fuck this." We could have said as many times as we've had issues just over the last few months of doing this. We've had issues with SD cards. We've had issues with cameras. Like our camera only literally records 30 minutes.
No need to put the camera on blast.
We love the camera, okay? We love the camera, but I'm saying like. It hasn't been easy, do you think? It's been a difficult thing, I think, but I think that us, because we want to do it and it's something that we enjoy because of our mindset, it seems like okay, this is just the journey, but other people might have been like, this is too much.
So is that what makes a career great?
I think so. I think getting to seeing all your work when you're at that point that you want to be at. But even then still, you still have a lot of time to go, right? And you can get to another point. So I think like just being able to appreciate like the moments that you have in your career, just like life, right? Because I think that's what makes a happy life too. It's just appreciating those little moments. So the moments that we do have an episode that just goes smoothly and we're like, oh yeah, after having all those hangups, man, this was a dope episode. We had a dope conversation. It flowed. I think that appreciating those moments is what can make your career great, but only if you let it. Because some people could pay attention to the bad and all the.
Well, I think the bad things have taught people lessons into making them great.
Right.
I don't know if that. I know that makes a great career, but I think the bad times makes you, like you said, appreciate the good times even more.
Right. It does. But some people would quit.
Yeah.
Like,
are we known for quitting?
Who, people in general?
Like people like people like YouTubers. Are we known for quitting? Like I know there's millions of YouTubes.
Right.
But how many people like stick to it? Many people do stick to it for a long time, but when is the point
that you quit?
You
know what though? I'm not necessarily saying quitting is a bad thing.
Right.
Because I think when you go through the hangups, you decide if it's for you or not.
Right.
Because you're kind of like, ooh, do I want to do this? But I think what you're saying, the point that you quit is when you feel like you want to move on.
Right.
So maybe not quitting. Maybe
Just
let's moving on
right.
to something different. So if we get to a point with this where we're like, damn, I feel like we reached this peak of success and we want to do something different. And maybe whether that be, because it's two of us, whether that be you have something you want to go do with all the production experience and everything that you've learned.
Yeah.
And I have something I want to go do, or we can continue to do it. I think it's just moving on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not necessarily quitting, because I think quitting is it has such a negative connotation, but I believe anything that doesn't serve you, you should quit. Right? Like if it's something that doesn't make you happy or it's not giving you any benefit from it, you shouldn't keep doing it. Like you don't want to live your life doing something that doesn't fit you.
Right.
So I do think I think our generation's known for quitting. I think our generation's known for
is it quitting?
Giving up.
Or moving on.
Moving on, but I think people say quitting because the older generation sees this so negative because they're such, I was doing this for 30 years. Okay.
I was gonna say, I think moving on, because I know a lot of people who, for instance, like they graduate from college and that's like, okay, now your life begins. And they're like, no, now my life is just starting. I'm not about to get no job.
Right.
Job who?
Job who? Job where?
And they didn't work. They didn't work. Like they for real found like a side hustle and then like just partied. I just looking at them like,
because that's what they want to do. They work so hard all this time.
Right. But then like when does that career point kick in?
When you feel like you're ready. It's funny. It's funny that you said that.
Way.
It's funny that you said about graduating, right? Mm-hmm. Because that would if we didn't look at it as such a good thing, wouldn't that technically be you're done? You quit. Not that you quit school because you gave up early, but you're done. Right. You're done with college. You're done going towards that. So it's obviously another level to it, right? So I think like when people do quit, it's graduating on to the next level. It's doing something that and it might not be a higher level. It might be you starting something new and going to a lower level. You know what I mean? Because you have to rebuild up that skill or relearn that. I mean, like you said, you have a lot of things that you do. And just because you stop doing one thing doesn't mean you don't still have that experience towards it. It doesn't mean that you don't still have that. You don't lose all that, right? You keep that experience in that and you go and you learn something else. Right. And you could always go back and do that other thing if you wanted to. And I think success is just that, right? Doing what you want. And
so success ties into happiness.
I think it does.
But I don't think happiness always ties into success.
Really? I think that if happiness is your goal,
right?
If your goal is just to be happy, then you're successful if you're happy.
Right. I think that, like you could be successful but not happy. Right. But very rarely are you're happy in your career and not happy at home. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's you either have both together or you're not happy with either or.
Right. For me, I feel like it's a deal breaker. I don't ever want my career to be the center of my life because I have other things that I enjoy. And when I don't get to do those things, I'm not happy. Doesn't matter how much my career is paying. And maybe I was just like, maybe I haven't found the career for me yet.
Right.
That I'm that happy doing, that I'm willing to sacrifice my personal life for it.
Yeah.
And people talk about work-life balance. Somebody said there's no such thing as a work-life balance. You either have to work really, really hard or you have to, go do the little things. And I don't agree. I think, what do you think?
Think there has to be a balance, right?
Has to
because
be.
if that is true, you just work.
Right.
That means when you come home, you might as well not come home because you're going to be working.
You're going to be working.
You have no work because that's your life.
Yes.
So on the weekends you work.
But it's like,
but then where's your life?
What's your life? And what are you working for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But some people
work for physical things.
They do. And some people work to work. Some people don't actually have
a
life outside of work. And I'm sorry to say this. If you're one of those people, I feel for you. But some people work as much as they can because that's their life.
But a lot of people who work, for long hours or do a lot of things, work just to work.
Yeah.
They have an end goal. Like
right.
We don't see it.
Right.
But their end goal is I'm retiring at 35.
Right.
So I'm going to work all the way up until I'm 35. I
right.
can retire and then I can enjoy life.
Which here's my thought. Why don't you just enjoy life while you're working and just keep doing whatever you want to do? Because I think
feel like a lot of people, or the few people that I know, is they were like, hey, I'm not gonna have time to spend my money the way I want to, or I'm gonna have so much free time that I'm not gonna have money. Ooh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work and I'm gonna earn all this money. So when I get to the place where I'm comfortable, everything is paid off, I don't have really bills, then I can enjoy life because I can live comfortably.
Right. I don't know a lot of older people that have retired. So tell me from your standpoint and what you know, do you feel like it's worth it to work a job for that long and retire? Is the money worth it, or does it just depend on what you retired from?
It depends on what you retired from. And if you are in California, for example, the best place is to retire. So if you lived in California and you've worked from the time you were 16 until the time you were 40, well, at 40, you'd be able to retire.
Wow.
If you're from California. And a lot of people do. That's what if they were born in California, they start working at 16 at some company. It could be a small company. Like, I think somebody I knew who worked at Apple.
Right.
Not the real store, but the, like the warehouse. He worked at Apple from 16, so he was doing small stuff.
Crazy.
I think at 16 in California, you can only work 4 hours.
Yeah,
so 4
you can't
hours,
work that
right?
long.
And he continued to work that entire time. Now he's 41, 42, something like that. He's retired. He can retire. Now he's like, he's very rarely at home. I don't even know why he has a house, because he's never there.
I think his case was a really good one and in like a perfect situation, because I feel like, I'm sorry, I ain't working all my life when I know I could die tomorrow.
I mean, but
I want to have fun now.
In his case, it worked out, but he feels bad because he didn't get to do all that stuff.
Right.
But now he's a big man on the block.
That's cool. I think let's give him a hand clap. Whoever you are, 41-year-old man. My thing though of why I couldn't live like that. I like people too much.
I thought, I'd be looking at him like, this dude is whack.
Right.
But you have to be on another level of focus.
I guess so.
You have to be focused on your happiness. I'm going to sacrifice my happiness right now for success, which is why I always believe that success and happiness plays together, because
I guess
although he was reaching for success, he wasn't happy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once he got to his success, now he is happy, but
happy.
he had to sacrifice that happiness then to get to success. Nobody has success solely without happiness. unless they know that they've sacrificed that happiness.
I don't know. I don't think you have to sacrifice anything.
You don't think so? You don't think?
Well, okay, let me not say that. That was not a correct statement. But I think that I think some people sacrifice a lot for a little.
Okay, a lot.
I think and I tell my boyfriend this all the time. I tell him like, I feel like if I was working so hard that I was not able to have that, and that's just me. I don't think everybody's like that. I don't think everybody needs that that social interaction, or everybody needs to be there. But if I missed out on a lot of the moments in my life, I would be.
I think I would feel that way.
I would cry.
When I did have a job, and I'd get things said. Like when I would come home and they'd be like, "Oh, did you see he started walking today?" And I was like, "What?
Missing out on everything?" Like
I was like, "Yeah,
no.
I got 30 more days of this job."
But some people can do that. Some people rather sacrifice.
Parents do it all the time.
But here's the thing. Yeah, they do. And I think it sucks because it's like parents obviously can't do anything. I'm lucky, and I think we're both kind of lucky to have our parents in that way that we're able to sacrifice those moments. And shout out to our parents real quick. Let's do it. Let's do a hand clap for them. I definitely think success is different for everyone.
Yes.
I definitely think that there's not one way to be successful.
Right.
But, it's funny. I have a book, guys.
Oh, God.
So I got this book that I got from the library. I got a library card. And I got my sister's a library card yesterday. And it was very fitting. But I got this book called 1,000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. And it's pretty much just a list of like different things, like some things that, unhappy people do and some things that happy people do, super positive people. So I'll just read, I'll read just the list. They have little paragraphs to like describe it, but I'll just read
She
one
said
list.
Little paragraphs. I'm looking in this book. Ain't nothing little.
Little paragraphs. Okay, I'll read 2 lists. So this one is 5 character traits that make you happy.
I want to see it.
Courage is 1. Patience is 2. Gratitude, 3. 4 is love, and 5 is forgiveness. Would you agree that those make you happy? Character traits to have. Courage.
Okay.
Patience. Gratitude.
Okay.
Love. Forgiveness.
Yeah, I think I have all of those, but number 5. Yeah. I'm all but number 5.
And then there's another one that I wanted to read because I think it's specific to, but it's just 1,000. Okay. 10 mistakes unhappy people make.
Okay.
Number 1, thinking you have already missed your chance.
Okay.
Number 2, using failed relationships as an excuse.
Don't have that, so keep going.
Not just romantic.
Oh.
Number 3, but you don't do that anyway. You take all your whatever. I don't agree. Number 3, changing who you are to satisfy others.
Yeah.
Number 4, putting up with negative people and negative thinking. 5, focusing all your attention on another time and place. 6, overlooking what you have to focus on what you don't. 7, dwelling on things you can't change. 8, constantly sacrificing your own happiness for everyone else. Who do that?
I don't know.
Who do that? 9, losing track of your own goals and ideals. 10, dealing with the stress of deceiving others. Deceiving, like lying.
Wow.
Or not even just deceiving, like just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be there," and you don't come. "Oh, I love you," and you don't mean it. Just certain things like that. But this book is by Mark and Angel Chernoff. And I think it's really cool because some of the things I noticed that I already do, they're different lists. It's like 10 mistakes that, they're different. 10 habits you must quit to be happy. And they just come in little forms like that. Like, so I'm on like the second part 2, and it's about adversity. The first one was about, I don't know. The first one was about happiness. Second part, adversity. Third part, relationships. Fourth part, self-love. Fifth part, passion and growth. Part 6, productivity. Part 7, goals and success. Part 8, simplicity. Part 9, inspiration. So I'm excited to like get through this book. But yeah, like I said, it's by Mark and Angel Chernoff. Not you. What did you just do a dance? What are you doing?
I can't move my arm.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, 1,000 Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. I think everybody should read it. But I mean, you don't have to read that exact book. But there's books out there, for other things.
What
like
is
that.
a good book to read about success?
That one?
Okay, another book. Or what? Okay, I'll give a more specific question. What is a good celebrity book to read about success?
An autobiography. I think that if you have someone that you deem as an example of success, you should probably read their life story and see the things that they went through, see the things they've had to overcome. Because I think it looks good on the outside, from what success looks like. But I think it's always good to dig deeper, especially if somebody you admire as a celebrity.
Okay, do you have a particular person who maybe they don't have a book, but you would read their book if they had one?
I read Rick James's autobiography.
The Rick James?
Yeah, because it took him a long time to actually be a successful musician. And I don't think a lot of people know that. He was on the older side a little bit when he actually found success. Like, this man went AWOL from the army. This man, because he got drafted. It was in that time where stuff was going on. And he was with a bunch of different bands and a bunch of different people. And it took him a long while to become the Rick James that he was. Not that I deem him as my example of success, but for him to be in the music industry and have the success that he had, I think that all that he had to go through, and for him at the time being older in that way was kind of like, everybody was fairly young.
Right.
And I think that it was really cool. But do you have one?
I don't know whose book I like better.
Also, the Wayz Podcast. You can listen to audio as well if you want to know how to be successful.
Word. I liked Michelle Obama's book.
Okay, that's a good example.
Or, whose book is really good?
Whose?
And you don't have to be a sports person to read it, but I think if you take what he says, and take the sports part out, I think it's a great book. Kobe Bryant. I'm not a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm actually the exact opposite.
Yeah. So success looks different for everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us your idea on what success looks like to you. And thanks for joining.
Sorry.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Wayz Podcast, because there's more than one way to do anything.